Okay, and we are live. Hello and welcome everyone to the live stream. We're going to be talking about everyone's summer adventure tips and tricks. So if you are planning on making summer a fun educational adventure, you're not going to want to miss all of our different contributor and advertisers tips and tricks for you. The second issue of the Homeschool Quest magazine is now live and available for everyone to read online for free on our blog or to go ahead and download it. You have received an email in your inbox with your very own download link. So if everyone could take a moment and introduce themselves, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
I'll start. Are we all in the same order on here? Am I the one to the right? I'm cool. I'm Chris Rimbolt. I was homeschooled K through 12. I love the homeschooling community. I think it's a very important movement in America right now, and I teach classes about artificial intelligence, which is the line of work that I'm in.
Hi, I'm Alicia DeVore, and I'm from Create My Garden. And my husband was homeschooled until fourth grade. And when he started dating me, he said, "Would you be willing to homeschool?" And I was like, "I'm a public school teacher. I don't think so." And then I started teaching longer in the public school, and I was like, "Yeah, I would totally do that." And he married me. So homeschooling has been a part of our 16 years, the past 16 years, and I will probably be homeschooling the rest of my life since my little guy has autism and he's going to be with us for a very long time. One reason I am always going to be here.
All right, I'll go next. My name is Chrissy Allen. I'm from San Jose, California. And I started homeschooling when I had a baby and was on the road for 2 hours a day. And I said, I think I am going to try homeschooling. And that's literally the reason why I started. It's been 20 years. I have ages 32 and 26. And I'm still in the homeschooling world, helping families stay confident with an educational program called Heart Academy in San Jose. So I love homeschoolers and enjoy helping them.
Hey, how's it going? I am Giovanni Aguilar. I am the founder of Kids. We're a kids educational online playground where kids get to learn creative arts and personal development so they can excel in life. One of the reasons I'm passionate about homeschooling is because I really admire the grit and determination of the parent, how they have to become extremely resourceful to find anything to be able to provide the right education for the child. They're willing to sacrifice themselves to give the best education to their child, which is really admiring. And that's the reason I'm really happy to be in this community. I want to add as much value as possible, and I've been kind of lacking on that a little bit because of a variety of reasons. But I do intend to add as much value as possible. So you'll be hearing from me soon.
Hi, I am Rebecca Gonzalez. I am one of the co-owners of foreverhomeschooling.com. We provide basically live lessons that are on the website, curated resources, a social element for students. I have been in the homeschooling community since, it feels like forever, but it probably hasn't been. Probably about 11 years because my son, is going on 13. So for about 11 years. And I don't know if I'll ever go back. My husband is one where in the beginning, we didn't necessarily see full eye to eye. He wants them in public school. He wants them to have that experience. But now he's kind of like, oh, I see what you're getting at. But I absolutely love it. Yeah, I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'll definitely be in the homeschooling realm for a long time.
Hello, my name is Chris Gonzalez, and I just launched a company called GoodTube Kids after I left my 19-year law enforcement career because I realized that we have a son at home who my wife homeschools, and I help, but I know she does a lot of the work. But now that I'm home now launching this business, I wanted him to have a place that was a little bit more than just Veggie Tales, and I wanted him to have a place where he could learn about careers and adventures and life skills and how to tie a tie and change a tire and fitness. And so I wanted to bring all those same things I wanted from my son out to all of your children and all those kids out there who need those same skills, especially those 8 to 18. But we have been in the homeschool kind of realm ever since we started. We found out that the schools just weren't going to meet our needs, and now we're really happy to be here. As I see the landscape, especially in the public school system, I don't envy those parents facing some of those challenges. So we were blessed to be here, and I'm thankful to be on this podcast today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Schwartz. I'm with A Knowable World, which is a K-2 history program developed by myself and my business partner, Scott Powell, who's been teaching history lessons to homeschoolers for about 20 years. And this is his first foray into doing on demand instead of live classes. So I'm really excited to be involved with that project. I got involved in homeschooling in 2010. I was like really disappointed with my own education. I went all the way through public school, got a degree at a university, and I thought, really, was that it? Was that all I got from all that time I spent at school? And so at that time, I started looking at how else it could be, how it could be different. And I've been homeschooling my own kids. And right now I'm working on I'm working on this project and some other projects to help homeschoolers just have all the resources that they need to make it possible for them to give their kids the best education.
Hello. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, good deal. I didn't know if these headphones were going to cooperate or not. All right, my name is Ryan Brown, and my wife and I created Bright Light Academy, which right now is just offering a video-based, pre-recorded online U.S. history course. But we built the platform to accommodate other like-minded educators that would like to put on other types of courses or whatever in the future. So that's something that we're pursuing as well. I taught in the public school system for and middle school and high school U.S. history, and I did a little bit of robotics teaching as well. And you got to that point where I'm just like, it's time to go. The public school just became more of a babysitting job, and you can't yell at the kids anymore. They start crying or they get upset, and then you got parents involved, and it's a big hot mess. So I was like, I want to do something for myself and create something of my own for my own self. And other homeschoolers out there, we have homeschooled our kids for, my oldest is 17, so since he was about 7, and we have 2 other kids, 11 and 9, that are homeschooled as well, and that's all they've known. And really, what we can offer as homeschooling parents is way more than any public school education system can. And I believe that that's our charge, and that's our destiny, is to raise up these kids as best we can and get them ready for the world.
I love that. I see that we have 7 people live here. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves in the comments so that we can see you all and I can give you a shout out. I'd love to see who's joining us and where they're joining us from. I'm here in North Idaho, and we're going to be talking about some summer adventure tips and tricks. The latest issue of the Homeschool Quest magazine is out, and I want to show you guys kind of a sneak peek of what's inside. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to show you guys what you guys are all getting for free. Each issue of the magazine is available for you to be able to read and download for free, so you can actually have this on your phone, on the go, on your netbook, whichever device that you're using. You can actually download this and have this wherever you are, and it's optimized to be seen on tablets and phones. So we have a whole lot of awesome stuff in the magazine. We have 10 easy summer plants to forage with kids, tips on exploring the wild and learning with nature, how to make any adventure more educational. I love this article, had some really great tips. Learning about patterns in the park so you can actually teach engineering concepts in nature. Fun vegetables that your kids will love to grow. Benefits of taking the summer off, and how you might be able to test to see whether educating during the summer or taking it off will benefit you. Keep your kids interested in learning about music. I Spy Musical Edition. The Beautiful Homeschool Mess, an article erasing the guilt about the mess and embracing the homeschool mess that everyone has. Homeschooling versus career, diminishing the guilt, and I have my adventure book recommendations. So we did not forget about all the summer reading. This issue has a ton of clean books for you guys all to read, and we have including free fantasy short stories for teens. Everything in the magazine is clickable. So if you click, it'll actually take you to that page. And then you can actually read the full article on our website. So it makes it super easy for you to be able to navigate and learn about all of these super awesome special offers that are exclusive to the magazine. So let's go ahead and talk about our summer tips and tricks. I got a bunch of great advice from all of the advertisers here that have joined us, as well as the contributors. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, is that showing for everyone there?
Yes.
Perfect. So, as the longer days beckon us outdoors, we are going to embark on a new season filled with endless possibilities for fun adventure. That does not mean that the learning has to stop. In fact, there's a bunch of different ways that you can incorporate learning into your summer adventures. The first thing is read the magazine. Like I said, it has a ton of great information. Those are just the articles. That doesn't even count all the amazing free resources that are available. We have a whole guide with tons of pages of free resources, as well as a lot of super affordable options for you to be able to extend summer learning. We're going to be diving into gardening, exploring how it can be the source of creativity, learning, and connection for homeschooling families. We're delving into the rhythmic realm of music, sharing its profound impact on children's development, and practical tips for incorporating music into your summer curriculum. And as avid readers ourselves, we couldn't forget about summer reading. We have a ton of great resources for you guys. We also have a really amazing giveaway. Honestly, I wish I could enter this one. There is so much to win, and they are giving away so many things. Honestly, I'm just amazed by the generosity of the homeschooling community because they have really come through this time, you guys. I went ahead and shared a link to the giveaway in the comments, so go over there and enter in that giveaway. It's super simple. Sign up for the newsletter, and then you just read the magazine, and you are entered to win. It's that simple. And this is perfect to add some excitement and educational value to your summer, totally free. There is 5 different ways that you can win. So there are 5 winners that we are going to choose. So you have a good chances of being one of the winners. So, Chris, please talk to us about your summer adventure tip.
Absolutely. So I have been learning about artificial intelligence since 2018, and just recently it's become a lot more fun to use. And we can even use it in the real world now. And recently I used it to create a little adventure for me to go explore some historical things in Nashville. One of the other presenters is more of an expert here about history, but this is just an example of how you can use GPT this summer. So if you go to chat.openai.com, you can actually type in, hey, I want to have an adventure in Nashville where I explore some of the out of the way music history sites. And then I also wanted to take less than 3 hours and cost less than $20. And also I'd like to have lunch at the end. And we'll create this itinerary for you with timestamps, with options, with suggestions, and you can actually tweak it if you want to after it sends it to you. So I created a lesson about how to do this. It is on futurehomeschool.com. And if you go on there and click the view course button from futurehomeschool.com, the one about the actual adventures and field trips is a free preview. So you can watch the whole lesson without even signing up for the course. I figure it'd be really fun this summer for families to be able to do that. And I've sent it to all of my homeschool family friends as well. So check out futurehomeschool.com and watch the free lesson, and you can see me actually take a adventure and field trip on that lesson. But that's what I have for y'all, and I'm excited to hear what the other presenters have.
Okay, Chris Gonzalez with GoodTube. Can you share your summer adventure tip?
Sure. Well, we are up here in Alaska for Good Tube Kids, and so we are just at the doorstep of adventure. In fact, just last week or so, I took my son on a fishing trip for halibut out in the Homer Spit, and we got to just go on an adventure. And adventures are a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes you get a little seasick, sometimes you get a little homesick, sometimes you get a little dirty or a scrape or two. But I want to encourage families to go on an adventure, and maybe there's a few tears, maybe there's a bump or a bruise, but when they come back, they're going to always remember that. And so I think families are a little bit inhibited sometimes, or we're too busy to plan that camping trip. It doesn't have to be big. If you have little ones and you want to plan a camping trip in the backyard, I promise they're going to remember it. If they're getting a little bit bigger, go out a little further. And as they start to build on that, you could say, you know what, next year we're going to go on a bigger one. And next year we're going to go on a bigger one. And as they start to bring those adventures up, they're going to remember all of those little times. I remember one time I took my son out. It rained, our tent was soaked, and in the morning he said, "Daddy, we did it. We did it, Daddy. We made it through the night." And so I'm encouraging families to go out and go on an adventure. Let's get these kids out there, toughen them up, rough them up a little bit, and get a little dirt on them. That's what summer's for, and that's what makes memories. So if you're looking for inspiration, you can go to GoodTube Kids and you can see some of the adventures that we're going to be going on. And like you said, it doesn't have to cost a lot, but it can make memories that last forever.
So it looks like we have Jennifer Smith. She is a first-time homeschooler, and she's starting with her kindergartner. Catherine Jackson. She's joining us from Florida. It is her second year homeschooling, and her daughter's almost 6. And we have Catherine Taylor from New Zealand. She's been homeschooling her kids for just a little over a year now, and she's still learning the ropes, and she finds it challenging at times, but also so rewarding, like you guys were saying. And it looks like we have Rebecca Gonzalez is also joining in the comments as well. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, Jomini from Kids, please share your summer tip.
Yeah, how's it going? I'm Giovanni. My summer tip is gonna be like Chris Gonzalez just mentioned. I think it's important to kind of go out in nature and experience things. But once you experience a lot of those things, or you learn something, I think the best way to learn something is to actually teach it. And one of the ways that you can actually do that is through music. You can write a song about it. You can put it out there. You can inspire other people about the journey that you went through. It's gonna provoke creativity. It's gonna provoke you to actually think outside the box, and it's gonna develop your executive function, which is the decision making part of the brain that deals with all the maturity and patience and all the personal development aspect. So you can actually mature and behave well anywhere you go. So I encourage parents and kids to kind of like make a song about whatever they're learning, whatever they're experiencing. You can take a lot of pictures about that experience and then create a song, and then have the pictures go like a video. So you have the experience, you have a song, and you have a great video with all the pictures you've created. So yeah, that's gonna be my summer tip. Just gonna get together with your kid and make some amazing memories be established for a long time, you know?
I love that. That's a great way to be able to extend that adventure and be able to make it educational.
Yes.
Okay, Rebecca Gonzalez from Forever Homeschooling, please share your summer tips about water balloons and scavenger hunts.
Well, water balloons comes from we're in Florida, and it's always hot here. Honestly, no matter what time of year it is, it's always hot. But one thing that I like to do with my children, I have 2 children that both have ADHD, and they're on opposite ends of the spectrum. And so, and then I have another child who does not. And so I am constantly having to find things to get them interacted together, and then also make it educational. And so right now during the summertime, most of us unless you're like the other Gonzalez who's up in Alaska. Most of us aren't in snow right now or cold or anything like that. So our suggestion is to get out there with some water balloons and incorporate education in that. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. If you have a sidewalk, you can make a hopscotch with chalk, and you can ask a math question or ask a history question or ask whatever kind of question you want. Then give the child a water balloon. Once you either one, if they got it right, yay, get a water balloon. If they need some help with it, talk them through it. Maybe show a YouTube video while you're, doing that. If they're need some more information on it, and then once they do that, throw the balloon. You can take chalk and do like a what's that thing called? Not an arrow. What's that thing? A target. And they could throw the water balloon there. Another favorite of ours is if it's too hot or it's rainy, because we're in Florida, it's either rainy or hot or it changes constantly, is do scavenger hunts. You could take even what we have done in our house is we've taken like the globe worksheets. We have those free in the newsletter. By the way, I'm so excited about that newsletter because there's some people that I want to check out. But anyways, that are in that newsletter, you could print out some of the printables and hide some throughout your house and have your students bring them in a central location to put them together. It's team building. It's, figuring things out. And one lesson we had this morning was my younger son was trying to hide it underneath the TV that's not mounted on the wall. And I'm like, hold on, let's talk about safety for a second. So that is some things that you guys can do with our printouts that we have done and with other people that are in the magazine, the second edition for this month.
Alicia DeVore from Create My Garden is going to be sharing 5 things you can plant right now in containers.
Hey there, it is so good to be here with you. And one of my favorite passions is to get my kids outside, enjoying the sun, away from things that are on the computer, technology, everything that kind of zaps you from being able to connect. And when I take my son, who's my youngest son is 14 and he's got autism, we go outside every morning and every later afternoon to spend time in the garden. Now, if you don't have a garden, that's okay, because you can take a pot or a container that has holes in it, fill it up with some soil, and you can grab either bush beans or you can grab cucumbers or summer squash. There's a really great variety of summer squash, like zucchini, yellow squash, the flat white squashes, because those 3 plants grow really quickly. So grab a few of those beans, find a sunny spot in your area that's got full sun, like 6 hours or more, and you as a family team, you guys are going to be taking care of planting 3 to 4 seeds in one pot. And so I would recommend, if you're going to do bush beans, just do bush beans in one pot. If you're going to be doing summer squash, do summer squash in one pot, or cucumbers in one pot. And one huge tip for all of this is to have a trellis kind of a thing. So go to Home Depot or Lowe's and grab a $5 tomato cage and put it in the pot for cucumbers or squash. Bush beans don't need any type of support. And then these are my 3 tips for this. Have fun. Let your kids get dirty with their hands. It's a sensory activity. It's an activating thing when they get to actually put their hands in soil or dirt, hopefully soil for growing, and you smell it, you sense it. It's wonderful. The second thing that you gain from doing this one simple activity is observation. The science of observing, of watching. Many of these seeds will grow within 5 days and start germinating. Notice that there's 2 leaves that come. What is that called? What happens when more leaves happen? There's roots happening on the bottom. What's supporting it? What needs to support it? When does a flower come? What happens when the bees come? There's so many beautiful beautiful observational things you can come up with. And last but not least is responsibility. When I think of gardening, I think of teaching my kids how to be responsible for what they've planted, which really means don't overwater. So you know how a lot of kids love to overwater everything and just keep on going? You can teach responsibility, that things don't need to be soggy and wet. And I know I've shared some freebies lately, like a watermelon class on Homeschool Quest that you can watch in a video form with some downloads. And I know I've got some freebies going on this month with getting your own garden journal for kids. I'm also offering a really great opportunity to grab a webinar that I'm teaching how to grow things with your kids, and that's for free. I have other courses too that can help you accelerate. You don't have to know it all. Accelerate your learning and come join me so that you can get out in the garden with your kids, grow some of your own food, and learn some really cool skills that can't happen in a book.
I went ahead and shared a link to Alicia's watermelon video. If anybody wants to check that out, that's a super fun one.
It was so much fun to do with you.
And Ryan Brown from Bright Light Academy, please tell me your summer tip or trick.
Well, myself, I like anything historical, whether it be like our country's history, world history, or even natural history. Seeing big, huge trees or something and knowing that it took them thousands of years to get that big, or whatever the case may be, it's just fascinating to me. But for this summer specifically, if you're traveling or whatever, look at where you're traveling to and see what kind of historical aspect there is to that location. Because every town around this country has some type of historical significance. Even if it's a newer town or whatever, there's a reason that town was started and how it was settled. And if you're going East Coast, you could go to Jamestown, that was started in 1607, the first permanent colony here in this new world, as they called it. All the way up to Philadelphia, you can go to Independence Hall, see where they wrote the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. You can go out west and go to the Oregon Trail and see the trail ruts that were still there today, that these people traveled on these covered wagons across the open plains, not knowing if they're going to live or die of dysentery or break a leg. You never know. Oregon Trail plug, if you haven't played that video game, it's fun. But anyways, my main thing is just to get out and learn something about where you're at. We were traveling from Florida one year back to Texas, and we stopped in Vicksburg, Mississippi, which was a huge, massive turning point during the Civil War, where the Union was able to cut off the supply lines of the Confederate Army. And you can see this actual battlefield where they had the Confederate lines and the Union lines, and they were no more than 100, in some places 200 feet apart, and they're shooting at each other, and they still have these historical buildings there. They have the cannons there. It's really, I really nerded out on all that because it's just fascinating to me. But I love history, so if you can get out and explore your town specifically, or if you're going somewhere else, look up that town or areas around there and learn something historical about it, because all of it started back in 1607 when the first people, started settling this country. And then, of course, you have your indigenous populations that have been around even longer. And there's so much history in this country, and there's so much to find out. So get out and find some history about this country.
I really agree with that. There's a lot of really great museums in my area. I live in the Palouse area in Idaho, and we have the Appaloosa museum for the horses, because that's actually where the Appaloosa horses actually came from, is the Palouse reason. So it used to be called a Palouse horse, and then that got combined to Appaloosa. So there's all kinds of really cool stuff in every town that you can find. I really love visiting the local museums. They can be a really great place to be able to find out stuff that you just didn't know. So Chrissy Allen from Heart Academy, please tell me your summer tip or trick.
Okay, so mine's a little bit sneaky in that you can actually, it's a great idea to do a couple things in the summer that are still educational, that you can still put it in their transcripts or in your records, and it's still fun at the same time. So my kids were into theater, so we did a lot of drama in the summer choirs, etc. And then you add in there the idea of a service project. So that's an extra bonus that you can add in there. And they get community. It's a little bit less formal, but you can still add that information in there in your record keeping. So oftentimes drama rehearsals are 50 to 100 hours, 45 hours during Tech Week. And so that's what I've done for the past 15 years at Heart Academy, because my children we always do things right for our children. So I just decided to start a musical program. And even though my kids are 32 and 26, I still love musicals. And we are still doing musicals at Heart Academy. Right now we're producing Schoolhouse Rock for 8 children. So it's really a great program if you can get into a nice, safe environment, right? I could tell you stories about things that my children were taught that were not quite safe within the theater company. So you have to choose safe places. And that's really important. And then I know you guys don't want to think about this, but it's time to think about the next school year, right? Choosing a community group, classes for your children. August is a crazy time. So my tip for you is to also think about what you need to do for the next school year now. And in a magazine that they talked about here, I have an audio that you can purchase called Creating Community in Your Homeschool. I'm going to give you some really quick ideas, okay? Number one, make sure that it's of you choose a place where you have the same values as the families there. Fun and friends, super important. Get messy and make mistakes, and it's okay for your children to get messy. You actually get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, meaning that if you make a mistake, they still love you for who you are. They see the ugly. Make sure that you choose a community with words of life, not words of death, right? So words of life are, things that are spoken by the leaders, by the children, etc. Make sure that you have safe mentors for your children, that you could drop them off and say, hey, I trust that person, okay? Make sure that they capture your children's hearts, not keep them away from you. Okay, that's really important. Meaningful moments such as graduations, make sure they have things like that. Challenge their comfort zone. We did a lot of dances. Make sure that you have food. Make sure that their activities are done with excellence, not haphazard, right? Done and organized. Make sure that they encourage to pursue passions, partnership with you guys, serving together. Service opportunities are super important. Make sure that you guys are welcome to be involved. Okay, and then of course, administratively, they are, they're just organized. So those are just some tips on how to find a community for you.
Those were some really great tips. Thanks for sharing, Chrissy.
Sure.
So Heather from Knowable World, can you tell us your summer tip?
Thanks, Amelia. These are some really great tips that we've heard so far. I have a really practical tip to help your kids build their map skills. Part of our approach at Knowable World is to help kids learn about history by starting with their own lives and the things that are around them, and to see themselves as part of the story of history, so that everything around them happened somehow. It's the end of some chain of events that they can be interested in and that they are part of today. And one of the things that we use in exploring that is maps, of course, as a tool. And so one of the best things you can do with your kids in the summertime, where you're out and about a lot, is to get a map and put it on your wall in your dining room or next to your couch, somewhere that you're together with your kids a lot. And so it could be a world map if you want to look at the world, but I would encourage you to think about where you're going to be traveling. So if you're doing a lot of really local things, like Ryan was mentioning in his tip, get a map of your town. Make a stop at your town's information center and get a little map and put that on the wall and circle the places that you go. Talk about where they are in relation to you. Did you go north or west, talk about the directions, talk about the distances, how many kilometers away. So wherever you're traveling, if you're traveling within your state or within the country, get a map that's relevant to what you're going to be doing this summer and look at it a lot. Your kids are going to learn a ton just from being out and about and thinking about what that means and where they are oriented and where they're traveling and what they're interested in and how far things are away. They're going to learn so much and gain so many map skills that they'll be able to use next year and for their whole lives.
I think that's a really great tip, especially if you have kids that have a hard time with directions, or like if you want to give them directions like go to the corner shop, it's go left, go right. If they don't get that, having a map like that to be able to orient them so that they can kind of get familiar with the concepts and see those kind of like, if you can point out those different landmarks for them, that's going to help them a ton, especially if they are going to need to learn to navigate themselves pretty soon. So thank you so much for joining us. Go ahead and there's a link in the comments to sign up for the newsletter. We are gathering every week we send out a newsletter with the best printables, videos, and activities. So you get, every week you get some really great stuff in your inbox. And so all you have to do is click download and print. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to go ahead and actually share a couple of the ads that are in the magazine. So I'm going to just swap over to that tab here. So I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about each of the people who are with us today and are sharing their summer tips. So this is Kids, like he said, it is a creative arts platform for kids. It provides a fun and safe space for kids so that they can explore their imagination, develop their artistic skills, and express themselves through various forms of art. They have experienced instructors so that kids can discover the unique talents and gain confidence in their abilities while having fun in the process. And the best part is, it's only $9.97 a month. So super affordable and really a lot of fun. This is Chrissy was talking about creating community as you homeschool. If you're feeling like your kids are lonely or you couldn't find community or mentors in your community, this is going to help you. For just $5, it's going to help you walk you through the best practices for creating a co-op that benefits your children and other families who have the same values as you do. So these are some super practical tips that you won't want to miss if you want more community for your kids. And we were talking about Bright Light Academy. They have a free history lesson about the American Revolution from a biblical perspective. It includes a video lesson, a guided notes page, and activity pages. This is a super great offer, and you guys seriously want to check this out. If you're teaching grades 7 through 12, go into the magazine and click on that and go get that free lesson. You're going to really appreciate it. Knowable World has social studies and history for kids ages 4 to 8. So it's a new history and social study curriculum. It has open and go lessons, including videos, hands-on activities, and ideas for further exploration. And it is just $9 a month. And if you click on that link, you'll actually see the special monthly price, and you get 3 preview lessons. So you will be able to collect some important clues about the world and practice describing their own location using their home address. So this goes hand in hand with having that map, like Heather mentioned, being able to understand the world around them. You can see there's so much great stuff in here. Oh, and I just want to give a shout out. These are some new Homeschool Quest printables for math. So if you guys need some affordable math for multiplication or skip counting, check out these really awesome printables we just released. So much great stuff in here. Honestly, you guys, you could probably spend a while looking through the magazine. So if you haven't already checked out GoodTube Kids, it is a safe place for kids and a resource for parents. So the once trusted media platforms are not safe for kids, and parents don't have many options, so GoodTube Kids is the answer. It's a place where youth can watch entertaining and educational content, and parents simply don't have to worry about what their children might see or hear. So it's only $10 a month, really affordable way for you to be able to feel good about the content and the screen time that your kids are having. And this is the Motivating Your Child to Learn audio from Chrissy as well. So go ahead and check that out. There's some, like I said, there's just so much great stuff. I just wanted to highlight a few things here. And this is from Create Your Garden. It is a free gardening webinar. So I know those of you that are joining us for gardening tips, go ahead and check out the magazine. She has a free webinar in there. You seriously don't want to miss that. There's so much good stuff. Honestly, I could go on for hours talking to you guys about all the amazing stuff. This is from Future Homeschooling. We have a free lesson on how to use the power of AI to learn any subject. And it is created with love by a K-12 homeschool alumni and AI researcher, Chris. So thank you so much for sharing all of this really great content with us, you guys. This issue is even better than the last one. And I can't believe that I'm saying that because I thought the last issue, we wouldn't be able to top it. It was so good. Honestly, each time we have so much great content for the homeschool community, and it just warms my heart that all of you are taking the time to share all of your amazing resources with everyone in our community. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that you guys have an amazing summer of learning.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thanks.